If you've played Diablo 4 recently, you've probably encountered the Iron Wolves. The Iron Wolves were founded by Ashira, a mercenary disillusioned by the brutal tactics of other companies she had served with. She wanted to create a group that adhered to a higher standard. Thus, the Iron Wolves were born. A mercenary band embodying principles of loyalty, duty, and protection. Ashira's leadership is central to the Iron Wolves' ethos, fostering a pack mentality where members look after each other. When one dies, their possessions are distributed among the rest, ensuring that the group remains equipped and cohesive. This is important and will come back later on. The early campaigns of the Iron Wolves in Kazakhstan solidified their reputation, and they quickly became known for their effectiveness. Now I want to talk to you about their campaign and rise to power during the events of Diablo 2. So by the year 1264 and the events of Diablo 2, the Iron Wolves are stationed in Kurast, a city overtaken by jungle and demons. For months, they battle the demonic forces that infest the area. This is a constant conflict that provides them with a steady stream of work to fill their coffers. But the demons seem endless. Despite their efforts, the situation grows increasingly dire. A group of heroes, that's you by the way, arrive in Kurast, having crossed the Twin Seas in pursuit of the Dark Wanderer. And this is where you meet Ashira for the first time. And she has a really particular look back then. Not much clothing for the jungle, and she carries a pet snake around her neck. And I couldn't find a justification for the snake, so if you know about this, let me know. These heroes retrieve the Gidbin, an artifact that strengthens the enchantments protecting the Kurast docks. This achievement is really significant, as it reduces the need for constant defenses and allow the Iron Wolves to volunteer to assist the heroes without charge. So despite the reinforcement of the Kurast docks, the city eventually falls. The relentless advance of demonic forces proved too much, even for the combined efforts of the Iron Wolves and yourself. Following the fall of Kurast, the capital of Kazakhstan shifts to the city of Khaldun. In the aftermath, the Zakharum Church hires the Iron Wolves for a critical mission. They are tasked with retrieving the new ruler of Kazakhstan, Emperor Hakan II. There's a lot to say about this one, but we'll stick to the Iron Wolves for now. They need to get him from his home in the northern reaches of Sanctuary. Successfully completing this mission, the Iron Wolves become the Child Emperor's bodyguard. This role elevates the Iron Wolves to an unprecedented level of power and influence for a mercenary company, something never seen before. Their new position as protectors of the Emperor marks a significant shift in their status. They are no longer just a group of mercenaries. They are now integral to the security and stability of Kazakhstan. This new role brings them both recognition and a lot of responsibility, solidifying their reputation as a disciplined and honorable force. Throughout this period, Ashira's leadership remains a guiding force. Her principles of loyalty and duty continue to shape the actions and decisions of the Iron Wolves. This is where they will remain as loyal guardians until we meet them again in Diablo 3. So how about we move on to the conflict in Khaldun of Diablo 3? A few years after the rise of Emperor Hakan II, and just months before the arrival of the Fallen Star, this is the event that happens during the first cinematic of Diablo 3, Khaldun faces a new crisis. Refugees begin arriving from the borderlands, fleeing from the Coven and their summoned demons. The Iron Wolves are dispatched to the desert to combat these threats, while the Imperial Guard is created to manage the influx of refugees and protect the citizens of Khaldun. Over time, the Imperial Guard supplants the Iron Wolves' role in the city. Despite this shift, the Iron Wolves remain active and continue their fight against the demonic forces. The Nephilim, that's you by the way, is sent to the Qasim outpost, where they discover Iron Wolves taken captive by the forces of Belial, intended for sacrifice. This all happens in Diablo 3. When Belial attacks Khaldun, raining fire upon the city, the Iron Wolves respond by aiding in the evacuation of its populace. At this point, we are very far from the small mercenary band we discovered in Diablo 2, but we still get to cross paths with their leader Ashira. Although for some reason, her accent is gone, and more importantly, the snake is gone, for no apparent reason. Maybe the change from ragtag mercenary band to royal protector meant snakes had to go. and that's a shame. A few months after Belial's defeat, Khaldun faces another threat, the Reapers. Of course, these are the events of Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. These dark forces attack the city and much of Sanctuary. Tyrael himself, the former Archangel, and the Nephilim, that's you by the way, believe in the Iron Wolves' ability to defend Khaldun once more, and they do. After these events though, the city is in complete ruins unfortunately, and a great effort of rebuilding begins. And this brings us to the events of Diablo 4. During the reign of how do you pronounce that?
Enmity.
During the reign of Enmity and the events of Diablo 4, Khajiistan faces a severe demonic invasion. Emperor Hakan II orders the Gate of Khaldun sealed. Yes, this is still the same emperor as we talked about earlier on. Hakan II said, quote, "Let the great gates of Khaldun be sealed. Let its proud walls stand fiercely defended. The rest of Khajiistan may suffer this plague, but my city and my people will not." He's hoping to protect the city from the spreading plague. In response, Ashira makes a crucial decision. She leads the Iron Wolves out of Khaldun. Now, I did some research and I couldn't really figure out why she did this, but I'm guessing she figured out that she could help outside. So she's fully aware at this point that she will not return. This choice marks a significant shift in their mission as they begin to roam Khajiistan, offering their aid to anyone in need, going back to their roots as scruffy mercenaries, really. We don't have an explanation for this, but based on what we know of the Iron Wolves, it's possible they wanted to aid the people of Sanctuary through the plague. Makes sense. As the Wanderer, that's you of course, you'll encounter the Iron Wolves in their camps. The mercenaries are engaged in a relentless battle against the forces of hell, which brings them really back to their roots of Diablo 2, right, where they were also pushing back the forces of hell. The ongoing violence takes a heavy toll on them, though, with many falling in battle. As I mentioned earlier, the gear that the wolves use is very important to the mercenary band, and they never leave gear behind on a fallen comrade, and that is actually one of the side quests that you can undertake. During Season 4, the forces of hell grow stronger through the hell tides, intensifying the conflict. This is where you meet Sude, the Anvil, the captain of the Iron Wolves in Khajiistan, and she recruits you to aid in the fight. The Iron Wolves now battle not only for their survival, but also in memory of the cities and comrades they have lost. Despite their strength of will, some Iron Wolves, weakened by their defeats at Khaldun, succumb to the tempting whispers of demons. These mercenaries bargain with demons in a desperate attempt to regain their lost glory. These actions reflect the vulnerability of even the most steadfast warriors in the face of overwhelming despair. Sude acknowledges that since the fall of Khaldun, this happens during the campaign of Diablo 4, the Iron Wolves no longer see themselves as heroes, but rather as warriors fighting a seemingly endless battle. Did you notice something? That's right. Where is Ashira? Well, last we heard, she was leading her Iron Wolves out of Khaldun. But since then, and since the fall of Khaldun, we haven't seen her. Maybe she'll return at a later date in Sanctuary. I'm guessing the fall of Khaldun must have hit her really hard. And there you have it. The story so far of the Iron Wolves and their leader, Ashira. I hope you like it, and we'll see you in the next one.